going into this collab with Steve, I had only one goal for myself, and that was to push him as far out of his comfort zone as I possibly could.
And you definitely did just that.
How's that? Is that good?
I think that was good.
So today we are finally talking about Nevermore.
Yes.
Finally! We've been talking about this for months. And today's finally the day we are gonna tell everybody, tell all of you, what it is we made.
And then we'll show you how we make it.
What can get any better than that? So Nevermore, how it got started, how it all got started. You asked me to collab for Halloween, which is a pretty big holiday for you, right?
It's our favorite holiday.
It's your favorite holiday. I was, of course, super giddy, like a little teenage girl that just met Justin Bieber. I was super excited, ready to roll on this, and then we couldn't do it right away.
Yeah, time constraints.
Air just went all out the balloon. But it all worked out because in the beginning we had an idea for, it was a easy wash oil base.
With a serious twist. We had some really cool ideas. It was something that was it was going to push me out of my comfort zone, probably not quite as much as Nevermore did.
Right.
But yeah, it was something different to start. But then you had a brilliant idea.
Right. So what did we make? That's the big question. What I wanted to see from Steve is something that I had never seen him make yet. Something that I personally didn't even know if you could do it. I didn't know if you could.
And neither did I.
And neither did he. So what we ended up coming up with, I am very excited to say, is a matte paste. That is what I envisioned, what I didn't know if he could do. I wanted to strive for it. We wanted to hit it. Steve came through amazingly, brought out technically the first unorthodox water base from your line, right?
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
So how did we make it? That's the big thing, right? That's what we're here to show you guys, is how we made it. And then what is it? What does it look like? What does it do? Where does it all start? Where do we all start with this formula, ingredient-wise?
All right, so first we start off with the oil phase. It's a two-phase product. We got the water phase and the oil phase. Start off with the oil phase. So the first ingredient we're gonna add is gonna be the microcrystalline wax. We chop it up by hand. That's the best way I found to do it. That's the way that I've always done it. And until I find a better way, that's how it's done.
And after we add in the microcrystalline wax, get it all chopped up and added to the pot, we're gonna shift on over to the natural beeswax, which provides some hold and some other benefits to the hair health-wise.
So next we're gonna start adding the emulsifiers. That's gonna be our PEG 40 hydrogenated castor oil. That's what we're gonna use first. That's just gonna help mix everything up, allow the molecules, the water and the oil molecules to mix together. And then we're gonna add the Satirth 20, which has the similar purpose, but that also adds a little bit, it thickens the product a little bit and does help with the hold as well.
And then after that, we are gonna add in just a little bit of rice bran oil, which is a natural heat protectant, which is awesome. And then it also has a lot of vitamin E within the oil itself, which provides some nourishment and health for the hair follicle.
All right, so now that we got the oil phase together, we got all the waxes, all that stuff added in there. Now we're gonna just add it to the boilers, get everything melted, start the melting process.
And that actually completes our oil phase. And so what's next is we actually have to shift over to the water phase now. That's the next step.
Yep. And the way that we start with the water phase is we're gonna start by adding our emulsifiers first. The first ingredient that we're gonna add in is gonna be the PEG 7 glycerol cocoate, which is a plant-based emulsifier. It allows, just like in our oil phase, it's gonna allow all the water molecules and the oil molecules to mix properly. And then after we get that on, now we're gonna mix in the polysorbate 20. That's good for, it helps, again, loosen those molecules up, and it's good for getting the fragrance all mixed in and any essential oils and any sort of extracts that we're gonna be using in the end.
And so once we add in those emulsifiers, we have the most important part of the water phase, the water itself. And water is actually the main ingredient in this formula. There's more water in this formula than there is anything else. And that actually does help with the washout, which was something that Steve and I talked about. We wanted it to rinse out completely with water and not provide any type of struggle with the rinse out, wash out, whatever.
So now in order to prevent any sort of evaporation, or at least to reduce as much evaporation as possible, I find that covering it up with some saran wrap gets the job done. So that's what we're gonna do here.
It really prevents some of that water that's being heated up from escaping the pot. Now we just gotta heat it up. We gotta get that water to the same temperature as we're heating the oil phase. Gotta get them to match.
Yep. You don't want to mix them unless they're both at a very, very close in temperature, if not the exact temperature. So at this point now we're just going to check our temperatures, and once it's up to the proper temperature, we'll pull the water phase off of the heat, and then we're going to start adding in the acrylates. The acrylates really are the secret to this formula. It's what provides the structure to the hair, and structure to the formula as well. So now at that point, now that we got everything mixed up, we're going to add it back onto the heat. That way we can make sure we have the equilibrium between the water and the oil phase.
So now that everything's good with the temps, they're all matched, we're gonna pull them off the heat and then begin the process of combining them and mixing them together.
Yep, and we're gonna use a stick blender to do that. The stick blender rotates at a much higher RPM than mixing it by hand or anything like that. That way that we can make sure everything's mixed properly.
No clumps, everything's mixed in smooth.
Okay, so now that we got the oil phase and the water phase mixed together, we'll just throw that back on heat just for a little bit, get that heater right back up to the 170, 180 degree mark, and then we're gonna pull it back off, and then we're gonna start adding our clays.
And the clays we're working with for this matte paste is kaolin and bentonite clay. And they really work together to give you a nice, good finish, a matte finish. They soak up any extra oils, and then they also provide you a great texture in the hair, give you a nice clay texture. So now that we've got our clays in there, now we gotta add in the scent, which for this project, we were going all out with the awesome formula and just, you know, pushing the limit for what we wanted to do. We wanted to go with a great scent. And so for the scent, we went to Mr. Tony Nguyen from White Label. He made us a custom scent. He totally came through for us.
He did.
It's like a nice, fresh cologne that you never want to get rid of. Continuing on that line, design-wise, we knew right away we had to go to Jacob Steininger, Star 7 Creative. He's worked with me on every collab I've ever done. He's worked with you on
Yeah,
some
he's done a lot of
Lockhart
great
stuff.
work for us as well.
Yeah, and we went with him with the theme concept we wanted to do. He took it the full 100 and produced this Raven Nevermore concept, made us this awesome design, and it just took the project to a completely new level. And then to top off the design, my wife and I actually made these seals. We just thought it really brings the whole thing to an even higher level of awesome, just having this seal. They took forever to make. They were all made by hand. All these seals were stamped by hand.
And you can keep them. You don't have to ruin them in order to use the product.
Right.
Pull them right off, set them aside, slip it back on, wear it as a bracelet, whatever you want to do.
Making fashion accessories here with this. So now in the process of mixing up the formula though, we've added in our fragrance.
We got our fragrance. Now we're going to start adding the extracts. And for this one, we're using the cucumber fruit extract. It's going to give you a little bit of, it's going to help, just like the rice bran oil, it's going to help a little bit with that heat protectant. So you don't have to worry with this product while you're blow drying it. It's not going to damage any hair. And then it's just got some extra vitamins for keeping your hair nice and healthy. So we've got the extracts, we've got everything all mixed up. We're almost to the final phase. At this point, now we're going to start adding in our preservative. I pretty much in all my water type formulas, I like to use a combination of phenoxyethanol and sorbic acid. It's what I find keeps the product the freshest, the longest. Make sure there's nothing nasty growing inside the product, regardless of, you know, you could have dirty fingers and dip into this and it shouldn't spoil.
Are we now ready to pour?
We're ready. Everything's mixed up, so we're gonna hit it one last time with the stick blender. Make sure the preservative blends in properly. And then once it's at a safe temperature, now we can start transferring it over to the jars.
So now we have our product. We have Nevermore. What are the details in this product that you guys need to know before you buy? Well, the hold that we went for on this is what I would consider kind of a firm hold, maybe a little bit higher than firm depending on your hair type.
Hold.
It is a pretty strong hold. And then for shine, I think I'm always hesitant to call anything matte finish because my hair is a natural shine. It's got a little bit of natural shine to it, but I think it takes that down severely. So I'd say matte finish to natural finish. I think that's safe to say.
I think that's
no
accurate.
shine though. I don't think it adds any type of shine.
Not at all.
I guess the last bit we need to give you is when can you get it? right? When can they get it?
That's what I think they're probably wondering.
Yeah, I bet you guys want to get your hands on it. So Steve and I discussed it at length, and we decided to open this up on Friday, February 9th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yep, and we don't know what time that is in your time zone, so just make sure you're well aware.
And you can get that at the lockhartsauthentic.com, which I will throw in the description for you guys to check that out. And it'll be on their website. The first 500 jars will come with the seals we discussed. Anything after that won't have the seals. I only made 500 and they took forever. So just wanted to supply the first 500. And if you guys have not yet, hit that subscribe button. Do that. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you have those notifications turned on so you get notified every time I upload a new video. And I believe that is it for today. Take it easy. I'll see you next time.